Welcome back. I'm Rick Sanchez. A week and a half ago, the President of the United States couldn't even get members of his own party to vote for him, or vote with him, I should say. Now he's passed health care, shaking up the right, and he's setting his sights now on education and financial reform. Then yesterday, when nobody was looking, he made a secret trip to Afghanistan for what is always a great photo op with, the commander-in-chief and the troops. They've all done it. Joining us now, John Fund, Wall Street Journal columnist and author of How the Obama Administration Threatens to Undermine Our Elections. And Craig Crawford joins us as well. He's a columnist with CQPolitics.com. He's also the co-author of Listen Up, Mr. President. Craig, the latest CNN opinion research poll has the president back up over 50%, back over the 50% mark or hump. To what do you attribute this peak?
Well, everybody loves a winner, Rick, and even if they don't understand what was won. And winning that health care vote showed the president is a can-do president, and Democrats as well.
Let me just stop you real quick. Do you think, and John, I'll ask you, do you think that the Republicans played into the president's victory, as folks like David Frum have said, that they kind of handed this one to him?
Well, it depends on whether or not you think the president really wanted a bipartisan bill. If you think he really did, then the Republican strategy was wrong. I don't think he really wanted a bipartisan bill. Not a single Republican in the Senate or the House voted for this. And there are a lot of moderate and liberal Republicans who wanted to vote for a health care bill. So I think the president is going to get a short-term bounce from this, but there are two numbers that are a problem for him. The CNN poll that you referred to, only 15% of the American people are enthusiastic about this. There's also another number.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? They like him, but they still don't like the bill.
Well, no one understands the bill. Yeah. And if they do understand it, they think it's too complicated. The second number, the president's own economic advisors say unemployment is probably going to be about 9.5% in November when people vote. That is an ugly number if you're an incumbent.
But can the Republicans use the same strategy with financial reform, for example, that they used with health care?
Probably not.
And they can't, right?
I think because the big banks...
Because they'll get tied to the big banks.
The big banks are about as unpopular as big government, and I think you can probably peel off 3, 5, 6, or 7 Republicans. But if you insist on having a consumer agency that basically dominates all of lending and basically federalizes it, I think the Republicans probably can stand united against something like that.
Craig, let me ask you a question. I'm going to read you what Minority Leader Boehner said recently, speaking of this financial reform thing, which I think is going to be the next big hot topic. He was talking to a bunch of bankers, right? And he told them that... he told them to stand up for themselves and not be intimidated by, quote, little punk staffers. Now, I'm just thinking, and I'm not a political strategist, and you guys know more about this than I do, but I would think that that kind of stuff might play into Obama's hand, right?
Well, John said that, the president didn't want bipartisanship, and Republicans in the tone of the debate and the fact they didn't vote for anything are coming across, right or wrong, to the public as obstructionists. I mean, the governor of Louisiana said we're the party of hell no. And as we move forward, on financial regulation, if they're going to stand with the big banks against the president on this stuff, and the Consumer Protection Agency John talked about is something to help consumers who are really abused by credit scammers. Even military troops are being targeted for a lot of these high-interest, easy credit loans.
But Craig, it got taken out of the House bill. That's what that agency's
all about. I know your buddies at the Wall Street Journal don't like it, but...
Craig, it was a Democratic committee that took it out of the House bill. You can't find that consumer agency
it's in the House bill.
The Senate bill. It's not in the Senate bill.
It's in the House bill.
Democrats took it out.
Well, of course. I mean, the Senate's going to be tough on this, like they always are in regulating big business.
John,
but the president's for it.
Do you not think there's some validity that there might be a perception out there that Republicans were obstructionists, if by no other reason than by the fact that in the end they lost? If they'd won, they would have been able to say, we weren't obstructionists, we did the right thing.
I think the president is going to be helped because this energizes his base. You can see his numbers improving by union members and lower income people. I think it allows...
But you think it's a short-term bounce?
Well, we have seen, Politico has a story tonight that the numbers are coming back to earth after only a week. The health care bill is as unpopular as ever, and the president's numbers in the daily tracking poll at Gallup today have fallen back to the level before it passed. So I think he gets a new narrative.
A lot of the people are against it because it doesn't go far enough, John, not because they don't like what
that means they might not vote for. They might not come out to vote. Remember, a midterm election is all about intensity.
I think they'll come out to vote, particularly if he gets banking reform and possibly immigration reform by election day.
Look, if you believe immigration reform is going to pass passed by November, I'll contribute a large amount of money to your favorite charity. That's not going to happen.
I think you Republicans are empowering the Democrats to go for it and get the Hispanic vote out in November.
Let's see what happens with that. We'll have you guys back. I really appreciate it. Thanks, John.
Sure thing.
Good conversation. And Craig, as usual, good to see you, my friend.
So long.